Good morning and welcome to the Hellraiser blog. If you enjoyed today's blog, please give us a subscribe. We love subscribes. I'm going to talk about last night's boxing, which I went to Wembley. I went with Danny Williams, the former heavyweight champion, who I've been trying to help out because he's finished boxing now and obviously he's still got a family, needs to earn money. An opportunity came up where he can go as a guest, and the people really enjoyed having him. He was like, he walked in, everyone wanted to go and speak to him. He took his belts with him and worked really well. So if anyone wants Danny, give me a shout and we'll happily set that up. He's a very nice guy and great entertainment. Anyway, the boxing last night. Firstly, got to say, I mean, the Joshua Povetkin fight I thought was very, very good. It was getting a lot of criticism. Even Danny Williams himself, he said, "Oh, Joshua, easy, easy." And as you know, if you followed the Hellraiser blog and you watched it, I didn't think it was easy. I thought, as we predicted, I mean, AJ's going to have real problems with Povetkin's style because he has so many of the traits that we know Joshua has always had problems with. And Joshua's an intelligent guy. He's obviously working on those things, and I thought it was an improved performance last night because against Parker, say in his last fight, we saw him really struggle with a negative opponent. Povetkin wasn't negative, but at the same time he tried to engage some of the similar sort of tactics against Joshua, and it could have been very tricky for Joshua. It was tricky. I mean, Joshua struggled the first half of the fight. He really had problems. The second half of the fight, or the last sort of couple of rounds, I thought Joshua really did the right thing. He put the screw on Povetkin, and the moment he hurt him, he got him out of there. And that is a sign of a champion, of a very good champion. Because you can lose 90% of the fight. And I actually had Joshua an edge behind, like 1 round behind at the stoppage time. People saying that Joshua was like 2 or 4 points up. Not on my book. Definitely not. At the same time as he was maybe behind on points, he was pressuring Povetkin more and more. And I was really impressed with that. And that's something that can be used at a very high level against very decent opponents to turn fights that he could be losing into wins. So I was really like, I took my hat off to, if I was wearing one, I would have taken my hat off to Joshua for that. Okay, so the rest of the card, I mean, right, I put a tweet out because I actually enjoyed, believe it or not, I know a lot of people did not enjoy it at all, including the fighters probably, I would say definitely didn't enjoy it. And I'll explain to you why I enjoyed it. The fight between Laurence Okolie and Matty Askin. It was a very, very scrappy fight. I knew it was going to be a very scrappy fight, but this is why I enjoyed it. Like I'm 6'2.5", 6'3", something like that. I was a tall, skinny boxer. I boxed a lot of short, stocky boxers, and I tried to make life as awkward as I could for them. And because of that, and also it helps me, the fact that I was like that, when I work also with short, stocky fighters, because I know what the tall people are thinking to do to negate what the short, stocky people can do, and I know what the tall, skinny people find difficult from short, stocky people. So here we had, Matty Askin isn't really short and stocky, but he's short, and he had to basically get inside against Laurence Okolie, and Okolie is very good at long range, just boxing, and he really struggles inside, and that's why I was really excited about this fight. For me, it was like the chess match side of it made this fight very interesting to me. The problem was, I think the referee really needed to be harder on the boxers because there were infractions throughout, and I don't think he was. Don't really like criticising referees because there's a day when they're refereeing my boxers and you want to be their friend, sort of thing. But I thought the referee maybe could have imposed himself a little bit more. He could have forced them. The problem that you had was that Okolie was maybe the better boxer at long range. He clearly struggles up close. He has a massive problem, and at a high level, that will definitely lose him fights. I love working with guys who are good at long range and are not good at close range. There's so many good examples of fighters that are very good at it, where you can learn what they you know, they do to actually create space inside. Okolie could not. It's like he had no idea how to create space inside. He was box at long range or hold, and like I say, at a higher level, he needs to move on. I'm sure he can, because he's an intelligent. You can see he's clearly a very talented guy, but last night he wasn't able to use that talent. And I'd take my hat off to Matty Askin for that, because he forced it into that kind of fight. His tactics were well thought out. The only thing was that once Askin was inside, he wasn't able to capitalise on getting up close and on getting that position that he sort of managed to get past the jab, which is a task and a half versus Okolie. But really a disappointing thing about it was that once he was inside, there was a lot of holding. But if you're if you're a world-class fighter, you know how to deal with someone that's trying to hold you all the time, not just let them hold you. Like I say, I think the referee could have helped it a little bit by being a little bit more sticking his nose in and making his presence be felt. But the referee sort of, I think he wanted probably to let the action flow, like keep going. It didn't flow at all. The guys, probably both of them, I think, would have been feeling very, very frustrated. And it's a bit of a downer for them. They train so hard, they go in there, and on the night the fight ends up being like that, and it sometimes happens. And I had a feeling it might well happen like that, but I wanted to see it, because to me that's really interesting to me. How are people going to deal with a situation where Okolie has someone that can get past his jab, first time in his professional career that someone can come and put it on him, and Askin, I thought, had a fantastic opportunity, because I thought if he can get past the jab, get inside and rough Okolie up, Okolie might come unstuck here. He might really serious, and Okolie did have big problems, and there's no way Okolie can be sitting there this morning going, oh great, I've smashed it, I've sussed this out. I mean, he'd be, I think, I've not spoke to him, you know, but I would imagine he'd be really heartbroken at the fact that, you know, he fights for the British title and didn't go probably as spectacularly as, for example, the fight against Luke Watkins went for him. But anyway, right, they had the fight. I don't think there'll be a clamour for a rematch, so we probably won't have to sit through it again. But I thought, you know, I enjoyed it personally, and I got thoroughly abused on Twitter for saying that I enjoyed it. Mickey_Helliot, if you want to follow me on Twitter. One other thing from last night, and I also tweeted about this, and I got a lot of sort of reaction from it. I thought we've got a British heavyweight champion of the world. He's fighting for the British title at Wembley in front of a packed audience on a Sky TV show that's really well attended. It wasn't like 3/4 empty Wembley, it was like packed. And they announced Eddie Hearn. Right, I'm a boxing promoter, so I know how hard and how stressful and how intense and all the problems that you have to face when you're putting these kind of events together. And one of that magnitude, I can imagine it would be like hell on earth. They announce him, he gets in, and not everybody, but like the majority of people take pleasure in booing and yelling abuse at him. Look, okay, so I put a thing up saying, why are people, I mean, he's done a good job, why are people abusing him? And someone put, oh, because of StubHub rips everyone off. Let me just put this out there. Right, I've worked in boxing 20 years, which is a lot longer than what Eddie Hearn has. Eddie Hearn didn't even have a promoter's license when I started, and I can tell you, throughout all the time I've been in boxing, there have always been little loopholes and little ways of maximising the income for the event. So it doesn't matter that it's Eddie Hearn, the climate that we're in now, there is, you know, secondary sales on the internet and every other way that people can maximise the money. And you know, Eddie Hearn has no choice, because if he doesn't do that, then there isn't enough. He's not getting the most money he can out of the event, meaning that the fighters will go and do deals with someone else. They go, oh, this guy can do it, you can't. This guy can bring this much money in, because the fighters, that's what they want. They want the most money. No, I've never had a fighter come in and say, what do you want to do, mate, with your boxing? Oh, I want to give the fighters the best value ever. They all say, I want to make as much money as I can. Have a think about that. Give us a follow. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon on the Hellraiser blog. Ciao. Cacao. See ya. Bye-bye.